Hey honey buns, welcome back to our channel. It's giving like mi casa y su casa. If you're new here, welcome for the first time. I am Meela Vanderbuilt, and today we are going to be talking about like some just general life things. Today's topic is pretty crucial for anyone who has any sort of passion project. If you have a passion project, a side hustle, a business that you're starting, or you're just like generally entrepreneurial, it can be sometimes hard to balance that, your life, and possibly if you still have a day job, that as well. So that's what we're getting into today because I have learned some things, honey, and I just want to talk about it. So we're going to talk about all that while I do my makeup. I'm actually over here getting ready for stream. I just finished my my day job work day, and I'm streaming after this, so I'm going to film this video now. Seems like good timing.
Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the
Okay, so in this video, I'll be sharing some tips and strategies to really help find that sweet spot between your day job or your career, your passion projects, and your life. If you find yourself like looping back into the same cycle of like being burnt out, not progressing, being disappointed, and really feeling like you're getting nowhere, we'll talk about it. Oh shit, I actually need to start and hurry up. I'm having so many bloopers because I have not filmed a video in I don't know how long. Like, it's really been ages. And part of it is because of what we're talking about today. I keep finding myself burnt out, and no matter how many times I like change up like small patterns and things, I find myself right back in the same place. And I hadn't realized until maybe I really started to journal about it. I'm not a big journal person, but I legit created a whole journal, and I'm not a huge journal person. So I started to use said journal, and I was just kind of working through some things that I've noticed because I'm currently challenging myself to 30 days of streaming, which sounds crazy when you're already feeling burnt out, but for whatever reason, I thought that would help. But one thing I have to notice, or one thing I realized recently, even before I was creating content, like in my early 20s, well, when I was like 17, I started a business in college. And when I graduated undergrad, that is what I did full time. And I did it full time until I ended up selling the company. I think I've always been this way, where it's just like I wake up doing my business or whatever my passion project is. I work on it incessantly all day long until I literally pass out, and I get up the next day and continue to do it again. Maybe when you're like 17, that can possibly work when you don't have very many other things you're juggling. But as I grew older, I realized that it was just so stressful, and I don't think I've ever been at a point where I'm not operating that way. So what's happening right now is I'm streaming, the same thing's happening. I'll work from like 7 or 8 a.m. to maybe 6 p.m. and then I'll go ahead and hop on stream and do like an 11 to 15 hour stream and wonder why the fuck I'm so burnt out. So when my first theory was like, oh, let's just reduce the amount of times you do that a week and you won't be so overwhelmed. Like, just stick to doing it on the weekends, maybe once during the week, and you'll be fine. That didn't help me. That worked for a little bit of time, and then I found myself getting inconsistent again because I couldn't keep up. I was exhausted throughout the week. There are a couple of things that I think happens when you're passionate about something and that's a project you're working on. Like, you're also, not only are you excited to be working on it, but you're also dealing with a little bit of overindulgence. So because we're passionate about it, we enjoy it, this is what we like to do. If you could sit around doing your hobby until you burned a hole into the ground, like, would you not do it? So we're like aligning just that general passion with possible income and motivation to like be stable, have a better life for yourself. So now not only are you overindulging because you genuinely enjoy it, but it's a possible career path for you, and you're now excusing that overindulgence because you're saying like, well, I'm on a career path, this is productive. And I think what happens too, I don't know if you've experienced this, but I've experienced this, like I'll do that and I'll be repeating like the same method to my madness, and I'll realize like I'm not growing, I'm not making any more money, I'm not getting any more views, and it's because like I'm not really being productive. I'm just overindulging, and I'm not being as strategic and not like taking care of my personal life as much as I am just kind of obsessively throwing myself into my passion. And I know all day long people scream and like it's algorithm this, algorithm that, like you just gotta go viral, you gotta be patient. And no, I think there are just like strategies that you can look towards and it's not just about content creation. I think it's about a lot. Like, mine is in regard to streaming because what I'm currently experiencing is me trying to really allow streaming to have some longevity in my life and not be this like quick fad that I hop on and get off of, because I really do enjoy it. But I think sometimes when we're early stages in whatever we're doing, we kind of get this idea like the harder I work, the faster my break will come for me. And sometimes that's just not the case. Like, whatever it is that you measure as success, burning yourself tired and rigid and frail is not going to get you towards that goal any faster. Being strategic, being productive, and actually making progress and analyzing progress is the way you're gonna do it. And you can't do that if you're not taking care of yourself and if you're not allowing yourself to have the proper balance in your life. Okay, I'm gonna put this lip mask on while we do this. I'm gonna try to use it sparingly. I did use that snail mucin that everyone is like ranting and raving about on TikTok. I used that earlier. I also picked up this primer from SMASHBOX. I got a little tiny version because I wanted to test it out, but it's like a photo finish control mattifying primer. So step one, just like, you know, everything, let's acknowledge the fact that work-life balance is important. And I'm going to be referring to our passion projects as work just as much as I'm going to refer to our careers as work. I'm someone who really does like the job that I do for my day job. I worked very hard to get to where I am in that job, and it's something that I wouldn't have even thought of when I was in college, that just like my general experience and personality has really opened me up to, and I really enjoy it. I still consider what my passion project is as a work, so we're going to refer to that as work. So when I say work-life balance, that's also including your passion project. But what I'm realizing is if you want to be in this game for a while, if you want to get to a point where you get to be successful, however you want to measure your success, you really do have to find balance, or you're going to be too burnt out, too exhausted, and like just like bitter, I think, if you don't find balance. I can honestly attest to the bitter part. I think that's the part that people don't really acknowledge quite often. If you've been hustling hard as shit and you haven't typically been seeing the results you want, and let's face it, people with like passion projects and hustles and stuff like that, are we truly ever satisfied? Like, yeah, you can make a goal, that can be your goal, you're gonna be like, I'm gonna be so successful at that point. Once you get to that point, I can promise you, you're gonna have your eyes on another prize. So you have to recognize that you're always going to be chasing something, and that can make you freaking miserable. Like, it can be terrible for your mental health. Like, I think this is why we see so many people with businesses and YouTube channels like taking hiatuses a lot, because they get burnt out very quickly. And yeah, it's obvious that you work hard, you work long hours, yeah, you get mentally tired, mentally drained, but you also get a little bitter because you're continuing to chase dreams and you don't necessarily feel like you're achieving anything, because as soon as you make a goal, you're thinking about the next one. I myself do that. I shortchange myself for the accomplishments that I make a lot, simply because like I forget that this was once a goal of mine. So having a proper balance helps you prevent that or avoid some of that bitterness, because you're also enjoying your life and you're enjoying the fruits of your labor, and you're enjoying just the fact that you can set something aside and have other aspects in your life that are important, and it helps just reduce some of that bitterness. And why I want to talk about this specifically as it relates to kind of like passion projects or hustles, because our passion projects are usually something we enjoy, so we loop that in with like our personal life, so we don't necessarily think that we need to really separate the two, because you're like, this is what I like to do, this is what I'm passionate about, this is what I want to be doing with my life, so why am I separating it from my life? You absolutely need to. Honestly, I'm just going to continue to use myself as an example. For instance, I am a gaming content creator. I create gaming videos. I stream gaming on Twitch. I stream gaming over here on YouTube, and I love gaming. Like, I started my channel because I realized I just had a passion for gaming that was kind of reignited over the past 10 years or so, and really heavily when like during COVID. So that is what I was doing to unplug from work. That was my passion. When I realized that I could also create like a hustle, a side gig, another job, another career path out of that passion, I did that, but I never separated it from my life. And what can tend to happen is if you are, the thing you're most passionate about, you want to do a lot. There is so much space there to overindulge that it's a little scary. So even though like my passion is gaming, now that my side job is streaming gaming, I am streaming excessively, not only because I'm chasing some types of goal, but because I'm kind of satisfying an addiction to what my passion is. So like, I think part of you just kind of has to recognize that this could very easily turn into an addiction if it hasn't already, because you are addicted to doing what you enjoy, and you're not going to necessarily identify a need to separate that from doing other things in life. Super irritated though, I forgot to do my eyebrows first. All right, so let's just like dive into the most important step. I know it's the most, I'm pretty sure it's the most obvious. I'm pretty sure this is danced across your mind at some point, but you have got to insert some discipline. You need some boundaries in how much you are going to indulge, and you're gonna have to make some decisions about this and really commit to sticking to them. And when I say like boundaries, there are gonna have to be set times in your day or in your week that you are going to allow yourself to commit to this. There has to be either a set amount of time you're allowing yourself a week, or make those time limits per day. Or if you're anything like me, that doesn't really work. I can say, yeah, I'm only gonna allow myself to work 20 hours on this a week because I'm already working 40 hours for my job. But girl, please, when I sit myself in front of that computer, I don't remember what hour I'm on in the week. So what I have to do instead for me is I have to have a very detailed schedule. I recently started using Outlook for this as well, and I do have a journal that I created that allows you to create your own schedule and like add notes and to-do lists and all of that. But I do spend some time now planning my week. This can't just be like a general thing for me. I can't say like in my entire life I'm gonna only dedicate this many hours a day or this many hours a week to what my passion project is. I have to revisit that every single week. But for me, it helps having a plan going into the week. So I know I'm setting boundaries and I'm being very clear about what I'm allowed to do. Like sometimes I treat myself like I'm my own kid, and it's like, no more screen time, little bitch, like time to get off. I don't know if I would call my kid a little bitch, but you know. But yeah, I think the first part is like having some discipline. And just remember, because this is something that I'm currently working through, remember to not like put too many crazy exponential expectations on yourself at first. So what usually happens to me is I set these goals. I'm like, yeah, this is what my week's gonna look like, this is what my schedule is gonna look like. And if I were to deviate from that schedule or mess up, in the past, I would have just thrown the schedule out the window. I'd be like, oh fuck, the schedule's messed up, the week's messed up, whatever, I'm gonna wing it. So make sure in the beginning especially that you're giving yourself the space to fail at being disciplined. Like allow yourself some flexibility and some grace that you're maybe not gonna stick to the schedule right in the beginning. You're going to try, you're gonna make a conscious effort, but there might be some times that you fail or fall off. But what you need to do is recognize those times and try to figure out what it was that prevented you from sticking to it. Like I really want you to study yourself like we study these analytics. Make yourself like a test subject, like you are a science project for yourself. Really pay attention to when you do not stick to what your plan was for yourself in terms of creating discipline. Now, throughout my little observations of myself, I'm learning a couple of things that's helping me put together a schedule. I know like with my YouTube community especially, like I'm always trying to create a streaming and content schedule and I'm always changing it up, but it's because I'm literally practicing it. I'm trying to see if I can commit to it. I'm seeing when I fail, why I fail, and what I need to adjust. So creating a really solid schedule for whatever this passion project is of yours could take you like weeks. It could take you a couple weeks, it could take you a couple months. Like it was really something you have to, because especially if you're someone who's never had a healthy relationship with your hustle or your passion project, you're gonna need some time to figure it out. But you're gonna need to make sure shit doesn't fall apart while you do that. But just like be honest with yourself and don't throw all the shit in the trash just because you messed up a few times. And now like I'm totally in my era where I'm not busting my ass, especially like in Second Life. If anyone who watches my other content, you know I play Second Life and I have businesses there. For me, like I'm not about to bust my ass to try to stay in that cycle, that unnecessary like hamster wheel of getting burnt out, working non-stop. But there are still things that need to operate and things that need to run. So if that's your concern, I would say, one, try to delegate as much as you can. If you can't do that, try to communicate as much as you possibly can. Be really specific about like SLAs, service level agreements, like time frames that it's going to take for things to happen, and don't do them just to appease people, especially if your income or your success or there's like no need other than like just meeting the desires of other people. create realistic timelines for yourself and use that to communicate, especially when you're in the beginning of trying to change something. Don't like overly commit yourself. I made this mistake even this morning. I woke up, someone hit me up for something, but I wasn't planning on starting work until like 9. Sometimes I start at 7, sometimes 8, but sometimes 9. I wasn't planning on starting at 9, but I got a Slack at like 8 o'clock asking for something, and I was like, oh yeah, I can have that to you within an hour. So that meant I had to get up, actually do it, and I was like, why did I tell her I'd have this in an hour? Like, no, I don't feel like busting my ass and rushing that much to get it done, and it wasn't necessary. It was just me trying to look pretty productive and like I was doing something, even though I was doing something. I don't know what that is. So don't give just unnecessary time frames. Really be honest with yourself about what you can do and what time frame, and communicate that with people, especially in the beginning as you're trying to figure out your balance. All right, so moral of the story, set some limits. You need to really figure out a schedule of when you're gonna do stuff and really plan that out. If we want to go into a whole video on exactly how to create a productive like schedule when you're self-employed or anything like that, like I said, I spent like 7 years of my 20s, or between 17 to like 27, self-employed. So if you're really trying to figure out like how you can create a schedule, we can do that in another video. If you're trying to figure out how to schedule things as a content creator, because that's what I'm working through now, we can do that in another video. I think I might even just link what my current schedule is and what some of my restrictions I'm putting on myself are. One thing I do have to say in terms of content creation, what I've discovered is because I used to just like work all week, I would say, oh, I'm just gonna stream on the weekends, but those streams would turn to like 15, 18 hours and I'd be exhausted by the week. And it was just like a never ending cycle. So I've recently been on the stream every single day for a month challenge, so I've been streaming more, but I'm having less burnout because I'm usually, well, for the past few streams, I'm wrapped up by like 7 or 8 p.m., which is a new thing for me. Usually I would be going until like 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. So in some streams, I finish with my work day because I've diversified the type of streaming I do, that I can actually stream and work at the same time because we have these productivity streams now. For me, that's what a solution recently has been, to instead of streaming a bunch of hours in a short time frame because I'm thinking that'll be easier, I don't know why, I'm streaming more for shorter periods of time. I'm getting the same amount of content I need to get, I'm getting the same amount of like things that I need for reels and shorts, and I'm satisfying myself because I'm doing something that I really enjoy doing every single day for the most part. I don't know if I'm continuing to do this shit every day, but you know. So maybe start there. Like if this is something that's your business and you don't even see your family basically. Okay, low-key, my memory card is out of space, so I'm gonna have to do a file transfer in a second. Okay, so now that we know that we need to put some restrictions on our shit and create a schedule, you really need to start looking at prioritizing. You need to like list the most important integral things first, and that is what you need to prioritize. So don't look at everything as equally important. It's not. I know it might feel that way, but everything is not equally important. So first start off by prioritizing the things that you absolutely must get done, and make sure that's reflected in your schedule that you create. And then in this moment, I really want you to start paying attention to how you feel as you reel the reins in, reel things back in a little bit. For me personally, I feel guilty just like spending time with myself. Like the other day I ended stream, I think that was just the shocker for me. I ended stream around 7:30. That meant I had time to cook. I had time to, so one thing I used to love doing is giving myself like lymphatic drainage massages, like to myself and on my belly and stuff. And I had time to do that, take a bath, eat my dinner, and watch a movie and still get in bed before midnight. Part of me, when I was watching that fucking movie, felt guilty that I wasn't doing something. And I had to, I'm glad it was a movie that I could not peel my eyes away from the screen, because I was resisting the urge to sit there and edit some TikToks or maybe even possibly just stream the movie, because I felt like I couldn't really just take time for myself. I felt like I had to be doing something productive. I don't know what the fuck is going on over here. It's like my concealer is like stuck in that one place. Yeah, I think part of that one, it probably comes from the simple fact that a lot of us have not really separated our personal life from this personal project of ours. Even though it is a personal project, it's your passion, and it's a part of your personal life, no, it's not. Separate it. So that's what I really think that comes from. is not being able to separate that. Why is this happening? Luckily it's like in the corner and I can cover that with some hair. And also this one is not particularly a problem for me. This is something I had to learn in my real life career that has carried over into my little side projects. But learn to say no. Learn when and what you need to say no to. And that also probably needs to be related to your priority list, your schedule, and then I guess your interests. But learn to say no. I think what a lot of times what entrepreneurs have a bad habit of doing is saying yes to every possible opportunity because it's a good opportunity. I can say this recently with a sponsor that I've been working with or wanting to work with. They were offering several opportunities and I knew this was shit I couldn't deliver on. They needed actual videos filmed, edited, and sent to them for review. And I was in the middle of traveling. I was visiting my family the first time I've traveled in ages, and here I am trying to figure out how to deliver it to them. And I'm like, this is just a time to say no. This is a time to realize the timing's not right. It's not super high priority. It wasn't a bunch of money, and it wasn't if I say no now, I can never say yes in the future. But fucking that situation up could lead to a no in the future. So really learn how to say no and base that on your priorities, your schedule, and your desire to do it. You should not be sacrificing your personal time for opportunities constantly. Do not make a habit of it. You're gonna have to say no to things. And now another big thing that's worked for me, it's more of a content, or even businesses, because businesses use content as well. You might have that on your list of priorities to make social media posts, but utilize technology as much as possible. If you want me to do a video on all the things that I use to reduce my time doing certain things like scheduling social posts, editing videos, all of these different types of things, let me know. That can be a whole video of itself. But really explore your options with technology. Maybe it's time to jump into some AI tools. I use some AI tools to write this video. I will let you guys know in the next one. If you want to see that, let me know. But yeah, one, I think it just goes back to the simple fact that you cannot do it all yourself, even if you are a one-man show. It doesn't help with longevity to be a one-man show. And I think a lot of times we pride ourselves on being a one-man show, but that is what's leading to some of your burnout and what's leaving you kind of stagnant. If you can't have other people helping you out, that is why you need to just utilize some technology. And now using different technology to help you with some of these tasks and help you to just work smarter, it opens you up to exploring one new interest. So it allows you to reduce some time on your schedule or prioritize differently, and it'll allow you to live life. Honestly, I can't think of any business that can support you not having a life outside of that business where you're gonna see success. Even when it comes to brick and mortar stores, new stores, a lot of times when you're a small store owner, people want to know about your story and how boring does your story look if it's only work all of the time. I'm even trying to get into vlogging and doing other things because I'm yeah, I love streaming. I want to talk about streaming. I want to show my streams, but there's more to my life than that. But yeah, find out what you can automate and just reduce the time that you need to do doing tasks that maybe you just don't love, or things that you do love that you just need to get a rein in and pull back a little bit. That's the other thing people always say, do all these things, find technology and replacements for the things that you don't like, but also do it for the things you love, because that is the area of overindulgence. That's where you might have an addiction. That's where you might be super overactive. So also in all aspects, no matter where you can, look at things holistically and figure out where you can pluck things out of it being a you task or a you thing and try to assign it to either someone else or technology. Now, just as we said we were going to schedule our work life and we're going to put some limits on it, you need to schedule everything else. You need to schedule family time. You need to schedule time to watch a movie. You need to schedule time to go for a walk and enter that into your routine. Because the things that you're neglecting right now, you're not. Oh, also one thing I forgot to mention. First of all, I keep running out of space, so I don't know how much time I have left. But as someone who's just really never had a healthy relationship with work-life balance, whether that be my day job or my passion job, I've also instituted a lot of these, or I've also applied a lot of these strategies to my real life job. I am done with work at a certain hour. I do not care what needs to happen. I don't care what the deadline is. I am not working past either 5 or 6, depending on when I start the day. I'm logged out, I'm closing Slack, I'm not responding. If someone has a problem about the next day, then, it's just no, I was unavailable. So hopefully you have that opportunity to be flexible like that, but if not, I'm telling you, it's about scheduling, strategizing, and actually sticking to it. Oh no, what I was talking about when I ended. Yeah, so all of that time, like the extra things that you want to incorporate into your life, you're gonna have to schedule those in, and you're gonna have to like put some planning and thinking into them. The other day when I ended stream early, I was literally like, what do people do with themselves? Like, what do you do? Like, I didn't know what to do. Granted, I was just gonna make dinner and watch a movie, but like that didn't even occur to me at first. So there needs to be those days where I make dinner and watch a movie, but also like going out and socializing. Even like previously, I don't really socialize unless it's like networking or something related to what my passion project is, so technically still working. There are things like I like going to comedy shows. That's always a really quick, easy thing for me because there's like not much. I don't have to get too glammed up. If I don't want to, I could just legit just go to one, and I'm near so many of them. You're gonna have to make some plans about other things that you can do to enrich your life and work those into the schedule. And then also pay attention to the basics. A lot of the times when I'm very busy doing whatever I do and I'm having a great time, it's so fun, I'm creating content, I'm neglecting the fuck out of everything else in my life. So now, like, I remember when it started, so this actually is something me and my therapist talked about, and it was, she said, like, come up with very specific days that you're gonna do certain tasks and don't let up on it. Like, this is an area that you really want to try to train yourself to become disciplined very quickly. But like certain things like my health and wellness, like, one, don't make the goals too big. Don't say I'm gonna work out 7 days a week, like off jump. So I just wanted to make sure I was moving my body throughout the week. So I started small. I was like, let's just like, Monday's gonna be the day where we work out at some point. And then another week into it, it's like, okay, we're gonna work out twice a week this time, and it's gonna be first thing in the morning, so I don't feel like I'm like neglecting it or putting it off. I do Thursday. I do all my laundry on Thursdays no matter what. If I have a couple of things, because I like sent everything else to dry cleaner and I only have like a couple of towels or underwear or something, we're doing laundry on Thursday. Like, do these things so repetitively that it feels like a natural part of your routine. For me, like, going in and cleaning the kitchen every single night after a stream has become a part of a routine that I naturally do it. Even if I didn't touch that kitchen, because one of my other goals is to cook for myself, but child, that is my biggest struggle because I hate cooking. Even if I've not touched that kitchen all day, I'm gonna go in there and we're gonna clean the kitchen after stream. So there are things that you just need to incorporate into a schedule until it becomes a routine, so you're not only doing your passion project, you're not neglecting other areas of your life. Like for me, I want to incorporate days where, yeah, I'm gonna do a face mask. It's gonna be the same. I'm gonna go get my nails done. Like I know that that's just gonna be a part of that routine. I know I need my nails done every other week, so you know, is that my Friday thing? Is that my Saturday thing? Like, really figure out strategies for all that stuff, because that's the stuff that you're neglecting. So while you still want to spend time on limiting yourself from your passion projects and using a schedule and to create discipline around that, you need to create discipline around enriching other areas of your life as well. And that's going to be the hard part. It's going to be hard to, one, figure out what to do, maybe reconnecting with people you haven't really poured a lot into because you've been so consumed with this. And it's not that you've even been busy, you probably also been burnt out and just like not knowing how to maintain. I fucked this up, child. It's something about this side of the face I keep messing up. But like maintain some relationships, and because you're just like busy and you're like, oh, they should understand, but it's you overindulging, to be honest. It's you, it's not them, it's you. The other thing to really practice, and I know you probably hear this all the time, is like practice mindfulness, be in the moment, be present. Yeah, you need to unplug. First of all, remove access to whatever supports your addiction. For me, when I do this, I also have to be off Instagram because I'm gonna be sitting here getting notifications and checking them and then feeling motivated to go create another reel. I have to be off TikTok. Sometimes TikTok, like me and the TikTok relationship isn't crazy because I don't post to TikTok often. That is one of my goals, to post there more, but I don't currently. But unplug from the areas in which people can either nudge you during your personal time and like just ask a question, like just make some boundaries around when you're even available for that. Or even me, like even in Second Life, like yeah, people want things very immediate, but if everyone knows that I'm not even showing up until Saturday, you can send me as many messages as you want. I ain't gonna see shit till Saturday. So make sure you are unplugged and removed from the spaces in which you can give in to whatever your passion project is. And then just be present. And I feel like this is the thing that's hard in the beginning, is like not just obsessing about, I don't know, new ideas for the business, new ideas for content. That's usually what happens to me sometimes, like things I'll be enjoying in real life, I'm like, oh my god, this makes such a good video, and you're like removed for a second because like now I'm like scripting an outline in my head and doing all this shit. Like sometimes you just have to just be present as much as possible, and really start to get used to, one, not guilting yourself for taking this time, because you're not going to be efficient and effective at what you do if you continue to run in circles doing things or just like overindulging. So be like very consciously present, unplug if you can, reduce the access to you. I literally came across a Facebook status the other day that I am not guaranteeing anyone 24-hour access to me. Think about yourself like that. If you get to a point of success in whatever you're doing, you are not going to want to or be capable of giving people 24 access to you. It's not healthy. I feel like you probably don't even want that. So get real firm in that right now. Child, why is this clip stuck? Get up out of here. Ruining my wig. But just remember, like, you also aren't, one, you can't rush your success just by doing more and trying to become successful in a shorter amount of time. It usually doesn't even work that way. There's a reason in real life companies hire consultants for things that they do know how to do and they can perform. Sometimes you need some perspective from someone that has more diverse just knowledge. Sometimes just to be another pair of eyes from the outside looking in. You need to sometimes step back from what you're doing to make sure you're not repeating the same cycles that aren't necessarily giving you a great amount of progress. And also they teach you this when you're like wanting to be a creative writer. You actually have to live life to be able to write. You can't just write all day and think you're gonna get better. You have to go out and live. So think of your business as the same. You cannot just constantly obsess about it. One, you need to step away. You need to just like have more of a diverse workload, a diverse life, to be as interesting and to even keep up with what maybe some of your counterparts are doing. And also, speaking of diversifying, kind of diversify what your schedule looks like. For me, I can't do, like, one thing, I'm weird because like sometimes I can overly commit to doing the exact same thing all the time. Like I can eat the same exact meal for probably a solid month before I even have a craving for something else. So what helps me is like keeping a very diverse schedule. My Monday through Friday, each day looks a little different. So try that as well with what your work priorities are. Maybe do them at different times every day. If there's stuff that you have to do daily, do different things different days of the week. For me, Thursday, because it's my lightest work day in real life. For some reason, people do not try scheduling meetings on Thursday. So Thursday is my laundry day, like we mentioned, and Thursday is also my film and edit day. So usually I like to get videos like that. Well, not really. This is my first time doing this kind of video in ages, but I like to get anything that I need to film done on Thursday. Child, I don't think these are the same colors. I got two different colored cheeks. But the things I need to film done on Thursday, and I'd like to start my editing week on Thursday. Yeah, I'll try to edit a couple hours every, like, also Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and usually like Monday. But that's another thing, because I hate editing. That's something that I've had to spread out over days instead of obsessively trying to finish the project as soon as I sit down. And that's something that, one, it's not even something I enjoy. It's something that I want to like produce. So that was already making me a little bitter about creating content. Now, another thing that tends to happen to me when I'm like getting close to a burnout or actually burnt out, I have this like resentment for whatever it is that I do, and I like find it's so hard to motivate myself to do it. So those are like the times where, one, I might fall behind at work because I don't feel like doing that because I'm like resenting it. Or I might just not even be posting content because like part of me is resenting it. One thing that helps me get through that, honestly, we've been doing these productivity streams over on Twitch where we have these work sprints where we're not even talking. I'm just like focus on work. We're all quiet, we're doing it. Well, some people are chatting, but like it's a time to focus. And then we take breaks and chat with each other. And it's just something about the structure of that. Like saying for the next 40 minutes, I'm dialed in, I'm not doing anything else. And then I'm gonna take a break to just like chat or do something light. It has been really useful for me to like avoid, I don't know, being bitter about the thing that I'm working on. Okay, so I know I've thrown a lot at you and I've talked a whole lot. Hopefully this video is not a nightmare to edit. Remember to just take some time to review and evaluate and adjust as needed. This is not you like saying this is the end all be all. If I don't do it right this time or this exact way, then I'm never gonna get this correct. But honestly, we're talking about the longevity of you to be able to sustain whatever this project is, and also just your happiness, your joy, your mental health, and your relationships. So it's pretty important to just figure out what feels right. And I bet you, like, I can't promise you, but like I've seen this work for me a few times, or it's been working lately, you'll probably see some results in whatever it is that you're doing once you take a couple steps back and allow yourself other things. This is to like my fellow content creators. I always get so reluctant even calling myself a content creator because I've been so inconsistent with it, but this is why. Like, I have not figured out how to fit it into my life, and it just hasn't worked because like I'll work overboard and just feel like I have no life and start to resent it and like back away from it a little bit, and I just don't get anywhere doing that. But this is for fellow content creators, streamers, bloggers, vloggers, Second Life creators, Second Life business owners, especially people in Second Life, because I know y'all be dialed the fuck in and probably doing it incessantly around the clock, because there's probably a lot of people that supplement their income or either do it full time, and that can be scary to like loosen the reins a little bit because there are just deadlines and shit to get done. But you're still gonna have to find a way to balance, or you're not gonna be in it for the long haul, or you're not gonna be able to sustain for much longer, and you don't want to have a meltdown. So like we said in the beginning, treat yourself like a test subject. Really look at what you're feeling like. Really take the time to schedule. See when you're breaking the schedule. See when it's hard. There are gonna be some moments where you have to push yourself, right? This is a change. It's not, change doesn't come easy. Otherwise you'd have been doing it. There are just some days where it's gonna be harder to really stick to it, and you're gonna have to force things. Like me with my freaking cooking, trying to wake up earlier in my day to cook in the beginning of the day because I know I'm not gonna want to do it later. Me and the alarm clock have a fight every single morning. You know, make some tangible goals. We could do another video kind of talking about SMART goals and stuff, but make some tangible goals. See when you're breaking them. Make your schedule. See when it doesn't feel natural, or notice like what you're feeling if you're having trouble sticking to it, and just see where you need to adjust and modify. This shit is not set in stone. It is, spend some time learning yourself, because especially if you've already had an unhealthy relationship with balancing everything. And then if you need some help, we like I said, we do productivity streams. My goal is to do them on Mondays, but I have yet to show up Monday. We're trying to work on that, you know. It's been a couple Mondays that I've missed it, but we do productivity streams. So you want to just hang out and you like the structure of like a scheduled day when it comes to balancing work, breaks, and a heavy, like a hard cutoff if you can. Also, I have a journal. It's out on Amazon, and it has every week space for you to create to-do lists, to make a solid schedule, to possibly map out SMART goals, and then just lots of room for you to journal, take any notes of things that you may have noticed about yourself, things that you like, things that you don't like, and really have something to reflect back on as you're trying to continue to adjust. So I'll link that in the description. Also, I'll link, I mean, I can't say I have a Twitch schedule right now. For the month of August, I am doing every day. So it's either there or over here. Follow me on Instagram if you need the schedule. But I would recommend, if you like, join a community of people that are also trying to be productive and develop some pretty solid discipline and changes to what their work, passion, and life balance looks like. And then as you evaluate things, I would honestly say, like, question why you make some choices. Like, why is this the deadline for the thing that you have to do? Like for me, I like to every single Tuesday get my thumbnail out, schedule all my posts to be done for Wednesday, but knowing usually my Wednesday morning is wide open and I don't see a big change in viewership from when I post early Wednesday versus Tuesday night. So I'm like, my Tuesdays could be an early end of day for me, but I spend so much extra time doing all these other things that I could do Wednesday morning. So question like why you created the deadlines that you created and if they're necessary. Also question if you need to do things the way you're doing them, or if you're just doing it because you want to, or trying to remain competitive with the way someone else is doing something. Me, for example, I was really trying to come out with 2 videos on top of streaming every day a week. And I'm like, why? I could produce, just figure out when, like, that's where we are now. Like, what I need to figure out how many videos I can produce in a week or a month and what is actually realistic. So like I said, analyze yourself, study your patterns, and really question why you have made some of the choices that you make. But anyway, in conclusion, just remember work-life balance, especially when it comes to a passion project. Just recognize and realize that you might be overindulging, because there's an interest there, there may be an addiction to whatever it is that you enjoy, and also you just may not be considering it work because it's something you like to do in your personal life that you've made into a passion project. It still needs a separation from your personal life and some balance. And then just continue to like check, like analyze and see what works best for you and what doesn't, what feels natural, what has a correct justification. Like just really continue to adjust where needed and give yourself some grace. You're not going to figure this shit out overnight, but you know, use what you need to, implement it either over time or like little pieces here and there. Or like me, I'm a rip the band-aid off kind of person, so I was like, I'm doing 30 days of content, doing it, period. And that means shorter streams but more streams, so I have more time during my day throughout the week and on the weekend. Okay, and that's really all, to be honest. If you have enjoyed your time with me today, please consider giving this video a thumbs up and subscribing, por favor. Be sure to turn on the little bell for notifications. YouTube be playing games sometimes, so like even if you turn on notifications for, click it, turn it off, turn them back on. Sometimes it just needs a refresh. But I really want to thank you for watching. If you did enjoy your time here or not, I don't know, just drop a comment below. Let me know your thoughts or your opinions on these things that are totally important to me. So I'd like to know your thoughts on this video if you like content like this, and also on the subject, what has helped you with maybe work-life balance, maybe entrepreneurial things when it comes to balancing that way. But let me know your thoughts and kind of what some of your suggestions are as well, especially because I am in the thick of this. I am learning. I'm still in that mode of figuring things out for myself, and you know, I'll continue to share with you guys. But definitely let me know if you have any tips for me. But yeah, let me know if you like videos like this, if you like the topic and not the makeup. People be commenting this all the time. We do makeup over here, so like if you can't listen to a woman because she's like touching up her face, then like don't look, just listen. But this is the type of video that I wanted to do for so long. Of course, I'm nervous. It's different content than what I usually do. We probably have one of the most unhealthy habits. Like gaming doesn't create the healthiest lifestyle because it's common to game for hours on end, to be seated the whole time you're doing that, and like to socialize in your games. So it's a learning curve for me, how to figure out how to balance it and how to still have a healthy life, not in terms of only balance, but like mind, body, spirit, you know, all the things. So I really enjoy creating content like that and figuring out like the best methods for our madness. But I'm gonna go ahead over to stream now. Thank you if you enjoyed yourself. Thank you so much, or thank you for watching if you're still here with me, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.
If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bankroll.